Today's video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate a simple and sweet teddy bear themed cake that would be perfect for all levels of cake decorating. Okay, so now we are working on our teddy bear, and this is the template that I'm using as a guide. At first we were going to cut it out as one piece, but I think it would just be simpler to just cut it out and piece it back together later. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm starting with the head, and I've rolled out a piece of fondant. It has a tiny bit of tie lace kneaded into it. That's optional. And it's been tinted with Americolor chocolate brown and warm brown. And so what I'm going to do is just use my template, and using an X-Acto knife or a sharp knife, you just cut that out. If it's way too soft or stretchy, you can knead in a little more tie lace powder or just let the fondant sit for a few more minutes before trying to cut it out. Okay, so I've cut out my little head, and we're going to be adding arms and legs later, and that's just something that I'll probably just do freehand. But we'll just take the head. If you want to round off the edges, just with your finger, you can, to give it more of a rounded look. And now we are going to add the details of the face. Okay, so I have my two bear faces. One is for practice, and this might be the one that we use right here. And so you can see it's just very simple, but to do this, I took some lighter brown for the mouth and just roll it in a ball to get all of the little lines out of it, and then just slightly flatten it into more of an oval shape. And there's a million different ways that you can make a teddy bear face, so just look online and pick your favorite. But for me, I'm going to make the oval mouth. And actually, before I put the glue on, I think I'll go ahead and use my toothpick to create the lines. So let me just put this on this little bear. Get it the exact size that I want. Okay. So I'm just going to take a toothpick and just create a straight line for most of the width of this. And then right about here, we'll curve it out to the side. And you can also do this with a gum paste tool or scribing needle if you would prefer to do that. I think I'm going to turn this upside down. Try to match the other side as closely as I can. It's just easier for me at this angle. Okay, so just kind of play with it until it looks like you want it to look. And you could also just do a completely straight line. I've seen some cute teddy bears with just one vertical line going down the center of the mouth, but we wanted to give our little bear a smile. So now I'm brushing the back with piping gel, and we'll just press this on. And then for the nose, we're just going to take a small ball of our fondant. This has been tinted with a little bit of Americolor Super Black. And again, the size of this little nose really affects the look of your bear. So some teddy bears that I've seen have a much larger nose, completely up to you. And for the eyes, I'm just using my food coloring pen in black to just color two little dots. I can't see that. Let me pick him up. Or her up. This is going to be a little girl bear. You could also use black fondant if you'd rather. Okay, I just wanted to mention for the inside of the ear, I put two little half circles, and to do that, you can see I just rolled out my fondant, and I used this is a Wilton tip 12. You can use any size standard piping tip for your cutter. I like the 12 though, because if it gets stuck, I can push my brush through the top. Anyway, we have our little circle and just cut that in half, and that's what we used for the inside of the ear. And you can also either just by hand or using a little ball tool, you can make an impression. Okay, now I'm just using some darker pink petal dust for a little blush. Oops, her ear is cracking a little. Okay, so I'm just gonna dust on a little blush. It's a dark pink, although the name of it is Super Red. CK petal dust, but it looks very pink. Anyway, just go with a pink petal dust that you like. The lighter shades don't quite show up on this brown. And as I said, completely optional step. I just like rosy cheeks. Okay, so okay. So here's our little bear. All she needs now is a little bow. I think we might go ahead and start attaching her to the cake. Okay, so what I have here is a 6-inch double barrel cake, and I have chilled the buttercream frosted cake until the buttercream was firm, and I just used this triangle template. This is just the dress. Chilled the frosting so that I could easily just press this template on, and I traced around the triangle with my toothpick, and that just gives us a little guide to go by. You could also cut out a fondant triangle and just stick it right on if you'd rather, but I just thought I would save myself the fondant and just do straight buttercream on buttercream for the dress. Okay, so for the dress, we are doing a ruffled dress, and this is just a simple petal tip. It's a Wilton 104, and we want the ruffles to be going down, so the small end of the tip is going to be angled down. And we'll just start on the bottom row. And you'll just kind of wiggle it up and down however close you want your ruffles to be to each other. Okay, so there's the first row, and then we'll take it up to the next row, and I'm just staying within the lines of my triangle. And you can change the amount of movement in the ruffle by the way that you hold your piping tip. You can angle it up a little bit if you want the ruffles to stand out a little bit more. Okay, so third row. Okay. We'll just keep going. And we're getting really close to where the head is going to cover these top ruffles. That's all there is to it, super fast. Okay, now I am gluing my bear, her little head, onto the cake with a little buttercream. Oops, I just lost the nose. Stick that on. Okay, and we'll just lightly press. Okay. And let's stick the nose back on. Okay. Okay, now I'm adding the arms, and all that I did for the arms was I made 2 balls of our fondant, the same size, and then I just flattened them into an oval shape. Oops, we'll just press that on. And for her legs, we're doing the same, but we're going to add some little shoes. Okay, now just like we did for the arms, for the legs, I started out with 2 balls of our fondant. This one's already been flattened, but just so you can see kind of what I did. I'm just looking at the other one and trying to get this one to look just like it. Okay. And for the shoes, we're adding just a little pink fondant shoes at the bottom, and all that is, this is a circle that I cut out with my piping tip 12, the large end. We'll just cut it in half, brush a little piping gel at the very bottom of the foot, And if it doesn't fit exactly, you can just slightly stretch it out. And that's just the easiest way to go for a little shoe. Okay, and then we'll just put it on using buttercream as the glue and just kind of slide it underneath her little dress. Okay, and same thing for the other side. You can turn it off. Okay, next we're gonna make a little bow for her. And you could either make just a traditional little gum paste looped bow, or you could use a real fabric bow, but I am using just a little bow shaped template. Okay, you can cut it off while I cut it out. Okay, so we'll just get rid of the excess and just kind of clean it up a little bit. I think my X-Acto knife isn't quite as sharp as it should be, so I have little places I need to clean up. Okay. And then just using a toothpick, you can add a few extra details. I'm going to add a couple of lines on either side of where our knot would be. Like that. And then I'm just going to take a little ball of fondant and create a little knot, which is just the look of a knot. And we'll just press that on. Okay, and I'll just add a little line to the center of my knot, and I think it looks cute. So we'll just take some piping gel. If it's extremely floppy, you can just let it firm up a little bit for several minutes. Oh, what am I doing? It's adding piping gel, but I think I want to use buttercream because it's a little thicker. And then we'll just place it on. Okay, so now we are adding a balloon to the cake, and this is just some fondant tinted with Americolor Mint Green. It has a little tie lace kneaded into it, and if I had known what we were going to do in advance, I would have let this dry for several hours, but we were just kind of talking about different design ideas just now and decided to do the balloon. So it's still soft, but I think it's firm enough that it will hold its shape as it extends past the top edge of the cake. And then as it sits, it'll get firmer. Okay, so there's our, just a little circle. And then here I have gathered up just a little thin strip of our fondant and gave it a little pinch. And that's going to be the little end of the balloon where it ties. So we'll just stick that on. And now we'll just pipe on her string. Okay, so I have just added some polka dots to the balloon using a Wilton Round Tip 3. And some of my polka dots have little points, which is pretty common. Once the buttercream has crusted, you can go tap those down with a little paintbrush. If they're really obvious, you can do that. And it just looks a little bit neater. Okay, so now I'm going to take a Wilton Round Tip 3 again, this time with white, and we're going to pipe on a string from the balloon that's going to go on top of her little paw. And then back around. Okay. Okay, so moving right along, we have piped a little pearl bracelet, again with the Wilton Tip 3 buttercream. And now I'm adding a grass border. This is just with a grass tip 233. It just has all of the tiny little holes in it. And just apply a little pressure and pull up. Depending on how long you pull up and apply pressure, that will affect the length of the grass, of course. I'm just doing really, really short grass strands. Okay, so we'll just take this all the way around to add a little bit more color, but I think it's going to be really cute. Also, you can see at the top, with the Wilton Tip 3, I just added a quick pearl border all the way around. Okay, so now to add just a little more color, I've piped a few little stems using a Wilton Tip 3, or 2 would be fine too. And then again, with the small piping tips, whatever you have on hand, 2 or 3, you can add simple flowers. So for instance, I can do this one with just a lot of little dots. And right next to it, we can do just this little spiral, as if it's a little rose. And we'll do another blue, but whatever frosting colors you're in the mood for. And we might add a few more, or even you could add like a few little sprinkles to the grass, just something to give it a little more interest and a little more color, and we're keeping it just as simple as possible. Okay, as a finishing touch, I thought I was finished, but we wanted to just see what we thought of this pearl necklace, and I actually like how it looks. So I wanted to just show you, I'm using a little Wilton Tip 3 to pipe on a little pearl necklace, and to me it just looks really sweet, like a little dress up. And that's it. Okay, so our cake is finished. I love how it came out. This is such a simple and sweet design, and it would be perfect for baby showers or young birthdays. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.